So as we are approaching the semester, we're going to start having students entering our courses. They're going to have questions. They're going to be clicking around, and we want to make sure that we're able to advise them as effectively as possible. In order to do that, we need to know what they can see within the course shell, what they're clicking on, what they're trying to access. And we also want to know if students are saying they're accessing contents, but they're not, or maybe they think they are, but they're in the wrong areas. We need to be able to figure out exactly where they are and what they're doing. So one of the ways we can do that is under the course evaluation tab. So I'm going to share my screen with you. I'm going to walk you through this, and this is really effective because I have a lot of times where students will say, I've been trying to access it for weeks, and then I'll go in, I'm like, you haven't been in Blackboard in 10 days. So how do we figure all of this out to make sure that we're really advising students as effectively as possible? So in Blackboard, there is a course evaluation section that gives you access to a ton of course data, as long as you turn statistics tracking on for the content you're uploading. So we're going to do two things here. The first thing we're going to do is talk about how to make sure statistics tracking is on so you can track all the data within your course. And then now that you're tracking data, we're going to then look at how can we access that data. Okay, so let me share my screen with you. I'm going to pull it up and we're going to go right through it. So the first thing we're going to talk about is how do we make sure statistics tracking is on? And that's pretty straightforward. So you can see here on every item that I've put up here, it'll say enabled statistics tracking, right? Even if I come into any of these links, I have it all here. Statistics tracking, it's all there. So there are two ways to enable statistics tracking. The first way, and I'm just going to go to edit, is when you're creating any type of content, at the bottom, you'll see track number of views. That usually defaults to no. You have to just click on yes, and then when you upload the assignment, it's there. But let's say, let me go back there. Let's say I forget to convert that over to a yes, and it just says no. There are two things you can do, right? So the first thing is, okay, I've noticed, whoops, gotta just click submit. So the first thing is you notice now it doesn't say statistics tracking. So there are two things. You can either go in there, click edit, or if you go to statistics tracking on off, so all I do is click on this gray icon. There's a drop down. I could go to edit, or I could just click on statistics tracking, click on, click submit, and now it's there, right? So if you forget as you're scrolling through your content, just make sure everything that you're uploading says statistics tracking is on. See how it's all here? So everything we're doing is being tracked. Now, how do we access all of this data? And how do we make sure that we're accessing it properly? So as I scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see this evaluation section. And there's four items here. The score and reports you'll probably never have to use. The retention center is currently broken. Blackboard's currently fixing it. I've been speaking with them on that. So I've worked within the course reports and the performance dashboard. The performance dashboard will be, I'll create a separate video for that. Let's just talk about course reports. When you click on course reports, all of this stuff is going to come up. Now, unfortunately, I can't really demonstrate all of it because you're all instructors in this course and some of it is specific to students. But I can still get some examples to demonstrate. So if I went to, let's say this is the one I usually use, overall summary of user activity, the report displays the user, sorry, make it a little bigger. The report displays user activity for all areas of the course, as well as activity dates, times, and days of the week. So if I click on this little circle, the chevron button, and click run, it's going to take me to a separate page and I can set parameters. So I want to have a PDF. Let's say I want to see the course usage since the beginning of the course, right? I can go all the way back to the course beginning and track that, or I can say, you know what, let me see who's been doing what for the entire week. So since today is the 26th, let's go back to the 19th. Everybody in the course will be there. I'll just select my name just to make it easy. Click on submit and then just wait a second or two. It's going to run the report, and then when it's done, you'll see the option to download report right here. When you download it, it's going to open up as a separate file at the top, and you'll get a lot of information here. So it's a little confusing, and to be honest, I don't fully understand all of it, but I know where the key information is that I need to access. So the reason it's a little tricky to follow is because it depends on how Blackboard identifies clicks. So it could be content, it could be assignments. So once you create a content folder, Blackboard identifies that as content data, right? So you can see this green is content. So it looks like there's a ton of content being viewed because all of this is content. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to scroll down, all right, because there's a lot of stuff here. You can see like every single thing that's created is here, but we're just going to skip all the way down. It's usually around page 11 or so. I'm just going to go all the way down. Here we go. What page is this? Is that close? Yeah, page 12. So if you look here, you can see each day the number of clicks. So if I'm a student and I've said I've been trying to get into the information for the last week and I don't see any clicks in here, I know that they haven't really even been in Blackboard. And I can see on the 19th, 168, these are total clicks. Just total clicks, that's all it is. But at least it shows access. 70, 65, and then here's the total number of clicks just on these few days. But at least I know I was active in the course. I also know what time of day I was active in the course. You can see, usually around 7, 8, 9 a.m., and then, 12, 1 o'clock, and so on and so forth. So you can see what time of day and also the day of the week, okay, that I was active in the course. So I can get dates, times, and number of clicks. So this is a really easy way to track students and see what they're doing. You can get all of your students in one file, or you can do a particular student if it's a general question, and you can change the date ranges. And that's just one of all of those different examples that are in there. So you can play around with that, click on it, but that's a really good way to check whether or not students are actually engaging in your course and tracking all of that. And one of the fun things I like to do is to see how effective my targeting is. So I'll send out an email, and then a day later, I'll check to see if there were clicks in the course after that email was sent. And I can actually say, all right, I sent an email out at 9 a.m., and all of a sudden at 10 o'clock, there was a spike in clicks. So that can lead me to assume, or at least deduce, that that email brought some people in. But I've also found that if I send too many emails, they start disregarding them and I don't get the same engagement. So I've learned there is a threshold where it's too many emails or not enough emails. And over time, you can kind of figure out that sweet spot for communication with your courses and with your students. I've noticed also, especially with assignments, I'll look at it and I'll see that assignments are not really being submitted as regularly as I'd like. And so I'll send out an email and then track to see if that assignment has been accessed. And I'll see students starting to go in there as a general reminder to start looking at things. So there are ways you can engage with your students and track their engagement. It's really challenging to do that as in a virtual environment because you can't always see their faces. They may not be coming to you after class. And one of the things I've learned is just because they're not emailing you back doesn't mean they're not going into the course. And so if you're not checking your course data to see if they're even logging in and clicking around in there, you may just assume or may think that they're not being responsive, they're not doing the work, when in actuality, they're getting the information you're sending. They're just not responding to you, but they are responding by action. So this kind of is something that you can utilize just to check clicks. There are other ways to get more specific information. I'll create more videos about that later on, but this is going to be the next series of videos I create, which is now that the semester is beginning, how can we stay on top of our students and how can we check up on them? So hopefully this was helpful. Enjoy it, play around with it, and you can use this course shell to experiment with it as well. So good luck, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.